I apologize in advance. I'm about to raise your blood pressure. What you're seeing in this thumbnail is this is an American armored vehicle, and it's captured by the Russians. And the Russians not only have a Russian flag on it, but they placed an American flag on it too. As an American, I find this outrageous. Yeah, this just really makes me angry. And there's going to be a few things in here that are going to make you angry. It's not enough to defile U.S. soil by inviting Putin to Alaska. Now they're using U.S. flag when attacking Ukrainian positions. Now, there's more to this story here, too. If you watch this video, you'll see this is an RT watermark. So RT is making propaganda use out of this. See, this is at RT. You can see that very lightly in here. Yeah, so this is them going into battle in Zaporizhia. Well, they say they're going into battle at least. And I'll show you a little bit more of the clip in just a moment. But here it is in Euromaidan Press talking about Russian soldiers apparently parading with American flag in occupied Ukraine. A little bit about it. Russian propagandists published a video showing Russian military forces riding an American-made armored vehicle flying both Russian and American flags, allegedly in occupied Ukrainian territory. The footage shows what was described as a trophy American M113 armored personnel carrier adorned with flags from both nations. Russian propagandists claimed the vehicle was rushing into battle near the village of Malaya Tomachka in Zaporizhia Oblast. How should this be understood? Russian propagandists are showing a video where Russian equipment goes on the attack with flags of Russia and the United States, Yermak said on Telegram. And yeah, that's what's going on here. Now, it didn't work out so hot for him. Russia further trolling peace efforts by placing American flags alongside Russian flags in their meat assault wagons yesterday in Malaya Tomachka. And this is about 26 seconds into the video where they were still hit. Nonetheless, they did get out of there, like they were making a hasty retreat after being hit. But okay. Yeah, that makes my blood boil. Okay. This isn't going to make your blood pressure come down any, what you're about to see now. Russia launched 4 ballistic missiles and 140 drones against Ukraine. Air defense downed or suppressed 88 Shaheds, decoys, UAVs across north, south, east, and center. Strikes were recorded in 25 locations in Donetsk, Kharkiv, Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk, Odessa, and Kyiv regions. So here we see deliberate strike on residential home in Kharkiv. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. These 6 people were killed, including an entire family, a mother, father, grandmother, 2 children. Youngest was just 18 months old. Yeah. The morning of the strike on a residential building in Kharkiv, the attack was deliberate. Yeah, there's no question it was just a deliberate strike on civilians. Entire families, our neighbors from the 6th floor were killed. A resident of an apartment building in Kharkiv attacked by drones, told this morning. I can't even post what the videos are. It'll get banned on YouTube. This was a cynical Russian strike. They're aware that there's a meeting this morning taking place in Washington that will address the end of the war. Putin will commit demonstrative killings to maintain pressure on Ukraine and Europe, as well as to humiliate diplomatic efforts, says Zelensky. There was life in this house before Russia destroyed it. It was a deliberate, targeted attack. And look at this. This was attacking a house. I mean, well, an apartment building, but you understand. I mean, people are just living there. There's no military purpose to this at all, unless your military purpose is genocide. The moment Russian drones hit a residential building in Kharkiv, they were aiming directly at people sleeping at 5 a.m. 5 enemy Shaheds approached the building from different directions. You can't tell me that that's not intentional. Doctors tried to resuscitate a small child, but could not. Putin was recently welcomed with a red carpet and a handshake by the U.S. president. Now, let's turn our attention to Sumy. This is what the buildings of Sumy State University, which Russia struck last night, looks like. Yeah, this is Sumy State University. Overnight, the Russians destroyed an educational facility in Sumy. This is how one of the main buildings of Sumy State University now looks from above. What's the purpose of hitting the university? 3 dead and more than 20 wounded in Zaporizhia. We're going to a different city. As Russian ballistic missiles hit the city hours before the Zelensky-Trump talks. And then the killers will be given a red carpet in Alaska and then strike in Zaporizhia with ballistic missiles. 17 people already injured. The blast wave and debris damaged residential buildings, industrial facilities, commercial premises. Kharkiv, the death toll is also rising. Yeah. I mean, this is what's going on. Russia struck Zaporizhia with ballistic missiles this morning, targeting critical infrastructure. They targeted a busy shopping center in the area of Zaporizhia with ballistic missiles. A shopping center. So let's go back and do the math again. Here we saw that Russia was striking innocent people who had nothing to do with the war in their homes while they slept at 5 a.m., wiping out an entire family. Struck a shopping center, struck a university. And what are we talking about in Washington today? It's the end of the war when who's doing what to whom? Now, they made a mistake as well. Azerbaijani state oil facility in Ukraine is burning after being targeted by 15 Russian drones. So the Russians are attacking Azerbaijan through the oil facility here in Ukraine. Last night, Russia attacked a SOCAR oil depot in Odessa region. SOCAR is an Azerbaijani state oil company. It's like Valero in the U.S. is really Venezuelan. It's that kind of thing, but it's big. It's a big chain. Greg Terry was telling me that this chain it's kind of like a Wawa or a Spinks or something along those lines, right? I mean, it's like a 7-Eleven, big chain. Okay, 17 fuel tanks, a pumping station building, operator and technical rooms, as well as weighing points and a fencing around the territory were damaged. Ukrainian media reports this is not the first attack on Azerbaijani objects in Ukraine. Previously, another SOCAR oil depot was attacked in Odessa region, and a gas compressor station was attacked in Orlivika, through which Azerbaijani gas was delivered. These attacks are deliberate. It's a clear sign to Azerbaijan. Now, before I saw this last night, I was going to show you this. Well, no, not this. I'm going to show you what the next thing is in a second. A little bit more about it. Putin spit in the face of Azerbaijan that had recently warned him not to target their gas business in Ukraine with threat that Baku may then arm Ukraine. Today, they targeted Azerbaijani state gas. I was going to show you this frontline report. Azerbaijan is mass producing 122 millimeter and 155 millimeter shells. Ukraine wants them all. Russia hit Azerbaijan oil sites in Ukraine. This was yesterday before the strike last night. I was going to show you this. This is the actual article from this. Azerbaijan is mass producing 122 millimeter shells and 155 millimeter shells, and Ukraine wants them all. Calls for permanent Turkish troops presence in Azerbaijan. That's what the Azerbaijani government is doing right now because they feel like they'll be safe if they have Turkey's military footprint there, and Turkey would like to be able to expand its footprint. Azerbaijan breaks with Soviet military systems. At the same time, Azerbaijan is breaking with Soviet traditions. The president ordered a full switch from Russian military coordinate grid system to the U.S.-developed World Geodetic System, the NATO standard. There's a strategic signal preparing for potential conflict with Russia. Yeah. And so Russia this was yesterday before Russia did this again after striking Azerbaijani facilities previously. So it's a big misstep for Russia, I think. I think Russia thinks that they're sending them a message like, yeah, you're going to mess with us? Well, this is what we're due. Well, okay. Meanwhile, what you should have been doing was what Ukraine's been doing. Ukraine targeted a gunpowder factory. So the death toll from that explosion 2 nights ago at a Russian gunpowder plant producing 152 millimeter artillery ammunition, Ryazan region has risen to 20 with another 154 wounded. But that's a military logistics center. That's what you're supposed to, not people sleeping in their beds at 5 a.m., an entire family. All right. What's going on the battlefield? 940 Russian casualties, 2 tanks, 5 armored fighting vehicles, 43 artillery systems, 116 vehicles, and fuel tanks. According to Ragnar Gudmundsson's dashboards, most engagements in over 2 weeks. Casualties are close to the average. Attacks appear to have been mostly supported by unarmored vehicles, and we see that with the 116 that are basically off the battlefield. For cross direction, 42 assaults. And we'll talk more about the bunny ears tomorrow. I have other things I need to get to, and we'll probably have more information then. So part of the negotiation that's about to be taking place in Washington is that Russia's asking for all of Donetsk. The borders of Donetsk go out all the way out here. And Russia's tried to capture this part of the Donetsk region of Ukraine since summer of 2014, and they've never succeeded. Russia's lost over 1 million troops and burned its economy trying to capture this land, but they want Ukraine to just hand it over for some reason that's hard to understand why they would do that. Konstantinivka directions, the occupiers tried to hide their tank in a hangar, but warriors from the Phoenix unit found it and burned it. Like, these drones are everywhere and they can get into everything. They're like bugs or flies or cockroaches or something. I mean, they just can get into places where you'd never would expect it. Meanwhile, Ukraine's Firepoint Defense Company just put 3,000 plus kilometer range Flamingo missiles into mass productions. Okay, this is what this missile looks like. Again, 3,000 kilometer range. If you go from the center of Ukraine, this is what it looks like, what it can hit. So Russia has to think twice once these get into mass production. Finally, last couple things. On this day in 1989, USSR admitted the secret clause of the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. The pact remains one of very few treaties that we've actually honored, says Darth Putin. Ironically, yeah, that's correct. Today, Donald Trump and Zelensky and some European leaders will be meeting in the White House. Donald Trump put this message out after Zelensky put out a tweet last night saying, hey, these are the things that we need to be aware of. Trump put this out this morning. President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Sure. I mean, if you just want to submit to being a slave, you can just say, sure, massa, you can do that. If he wants to, or he can continue to fight. Remember how it started. No getting back to Obama giving Crimea 12 years ago without a shot being fired, and no going into NATO by Ukraine. Some things never change. What on earth is he posting this for? Anyway, it's a deeply disappointing day. I'll leave you with this last image. This is a positive use of drones. This is it's just interesting. This cat needs to eat. And so here's a drone delivery service. The cat's gonna well, wait a minute. He's getting too close. But eventually that is cat food after all. And I'm hungry. So, all right, my friends, that's all that I have for you. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, the subscribes. I'm sorry for the elevated blood pressure, but this is just what we're seeing in the news today. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.